Hey, talking to Skip Miller here. What's the name of your company, Skip?
Well, I come from the model aircraft background, which is called Skip Miller Models, but the company we're talking about today is UAS USA, and that's Unmanned Aircraft Systems USA.
Okay.
And I started that as a division of Skip Miller Models about 5 years ago.
How long have you been doing models?
I've been doing models forever. I compete on a national and world level for 38 years, and I'm the first world champion of the sport of radio control soaring.
Ooh.
And the first gold medalist, and our team was the first gold medal team. And I'm still current. And
do you mostly stay with soaring and with soaring?
Yes, I'm soaring. I've done a couple 100,000 flights without a motor. So I've done a lot of radio control, and I've flown all over the world.
Oh, nice.
Literally.
And don't you have to kind of swing them in the air to get them started sometimes?
Well, no, they're launched off of either a winch, a little electric motor on the ground that launches it like a kite, or some of them, like those hand-launched airplanes, those you swing around and throw them.
Oh, this one over here?
And so we do all aspects of soaring. But the topic of what we were talking about today is the unmanned side of.
Okay. Is this a video of an unmanned?
This is our Tempest, and this is a simulator.
It's got a propeller on it.
It's got an electric motor, and this is the actual aircraft.
Okay, so
it's an electric motor. It was designed for the Aeronautical Engineering Department.
Are those blades carbon?
They're carbon. It was designed for chasing thunderstorms and tornadoes 5 years ago for the University of Colorado, and they came to me with my model background and asked if we could.
This is for taking photographs?
This is for
video?
Taking, live video downlink. It could be daytime camera or infrared camera.
Okay, good.
Whatever you choose. Basically, the Tempest aircraft that you see here is completely composite aircraft. If you look across there, you can see a thin fuselage. That's modern sailplane design. So this is quite a bit different. This is 5 to 10 pounds of payload of whatever you'd like. Typically, it's cameras.
Cameras, right.
Cameras, mapping equipment, etc. And so the commercial use of this is just unfolding on what
can go wrong up there. Not much nowadays.
Well, these are electric aircraft, and currently we have to fly them below 400 feet to stay out of full aviation area. But you also have to apply for a COA, a certificate of authorization, to operate these. And the Tempest has more COAs than any other commercially available.
So this is called the Tempest. Is this your flagship model?
This is the one. This is the one that the University of Colorado calls their workhorse airplane.
Okay.
Because of the missions that they offer.
What besides the tornadoes do you do with this nowadays?
Okay, so one of the things we do is this is a modification of the aircraft. This is a magnetometer aircraft. So these are actually magnetometers in the wingtips, and it flies over the ground, measuring magnetism in the earth, basically for mining companies to keep an eye out tailings and etc. You can see we've done some supercell thunderstorm, first unmanned flying in that about 5 years ago. We also have customers that do many varied things. We're in the University of Nebraska for precision agriculture, and we're at MIT for vaccine drops in Africa.
Can you drop vaccines from something like this?
Yes, well, because you can go into remote areas and you can fly away where it's hard to get in with a vehicle, and a full-size aircraft isn't reasonable.
Have you lost any of these?
We haven't, but we've done some interesting things as well. The Naval Research Lab heard about the Tempest for University of Colorado, and this is an image of them taking the airplane up in a balloon, and I thought they'd take it up 2,000 or 3,000 feet. They didn't really tell me what they were going to do with it, and I'll show you this. And when they finally performed their mission, they took it up 10.5 miles to the edge of space.
Wow.
And that was 2011. These are small UAVs, and the aircraft performed the complete tasks of launching at that height, flying back up 128 miles, sometimes in minus 60-degree temperatures and 60-knot headwinds. Dropped the little UAVs, which were just disposables, so to speak, just for gathering data. Circled down and landed. We never turned on the motor. So it's a very efficient.
Oh, wow, right. So.
And then we also, I talk about drones, and you can see that's a very common look of what a drone is in the public's eye, and I show up with a Tempest, and as you can see, it's much more elegant.
Yes.
It's very efficient. This does a very good job of what it's supposed to do, but I'm focused on the civil market and all the applications. We're currently working on a project where we're helping a fishing fleet to replace helicopters, because they can be launched off a boat and caught in a net, and they can fly out and circle and find things. And so That's huge. We also are on a college textbook, which is kind of fun. That gives you, that's a Tempest flying over a farmer's field, and this is small unmanned aircraft theory and practice. So it's kind of fun that we're being recognized for what we do, which is the commercial arena. Things as simple as search and rescue. Right now in Colorado, you go out with a horseback team, try to find someone. I can deploy a Tempest and fly at 300 feet. I can even make it so that they could yell to the aircraft and we could hear them.
Oh.
So I mean, there's a lot of things, everything that you can imagine.
So what's happened is transistors and technology has replaced your balsa wood kit and your motor that you started out with, or you
Very
maybe
much. Oh, I started out with that. I started out with that, and it's all composite. It's all fiberglass. Again, we have our own molds. We make this completely from start to finish, and then we set it up with the payloads, no different than a magnetometer. I didn't know what a magnetometer was when they came to me, but then I'm looking at fish poaching in Thailand, which is a $3 billion industry, and basically there. They have to patrol the shore 8 miles off their coast because people are coming in and stealing the fish from other countries. So
I heard you do some wildlife work in Africa.
Yes, we're doing. We have one company. So again, our companies buy aircraft from us, and then the missions are performed by them. But the white rhino is becoming extinct, and so they're using to fight back against poachers to have live video downlinks of activity areas where they're trying to protect the white rhinos.
So how long ago do you think, in going back in recent history, before you could envision something like this? About how many years do you think?
Well, I started this 5 years ago when the University of Colorado approached me. The military drone market is highly saturated and very good for what its purpose was. This is a totally different problem. Actually, it's not a problem. It's more providing solutions. You're a farmer with 1,000 acres or 2,000 acres, and now you can launch an aircraft like this and see which areas are dry.
Right, and you have GPS to work with, where 10 years, 15 years ago you
didn't have that.
Yeah, right. So
and you can imagine, to the survey world, the mapping side, it's unbelievable. And it's actually for you to be able to put right where you want a power line inspection is an obvious one.
Well, that's
oil pipeline is an obvious one. They fly full-size aircraft or helicopters all the time. So that'll go away shortly.
You got to be a multi-millionaire by now.
Yeah, no, I've worked hard though, and this will be an interesting year for us. We have a lot of very interesting accounts. We're on our second generation of aircraft for the Tempest, which will have twin engines, and this whole nose becomes a pod for basically whatever sensors. Like I said, this one has a daytime camera in the front and an infrared camera in the rear, and that basically lets a person look and map the way they want. It just depends upon exactly what they want.
So people can just get these and do anything with them that they want, really.
Well, no, it can't. It's not quite that. That's a little bit simpler view of what's really happening. Obviously, it's a super saturated airspace over the United States, so you have to. There's a whole level of that going on. We have a number of customers in Canada that are using our aircraft just for the reason that the saturation is not high. So they're out over forests looking at surveys and rivers and etc. So we'll start slowly. This has the certificate of authorization to operate these. You're allowed to do that for cities or universities. So the Tempest has more COAs than any drone today.
Right, because you can work with universities and states and cities.
And coexist and develop what you're trying to do. So we have a number of, MIT is the one that I mentioned, University of Colorado, University of Nebraska for precision ag. And everyone has their own interesting view of how they do this.
I happen to wonder about this, and I don't know how to phrase it, but so 10 years ago, you probably didn't envision where your company would be or where aerodynamics and aircraft would be. What do you think 5, 10, 15 years from now? Do you see any prognostication of anything you see that you might be different, that you could look back and say, I saw that then?
Okay, so the only milestone that I know is 5 years ago when the University of Colorado approached me and told me what they were doing with thunderstorm and tornado research. And they came to me and they were using glorified model aircraft. And that's when we developed the Tempest and said, We met the criteria 200% better than what they required. It could go faster, it could go further, it could be deployed quickly.
Special like lithium battery,
and that's all come online too, so the battery systems have helped. But to answer your question, today, quite frankly, even though this looks quite sophisticated, this is the Wright brothers level of what this is. Now there's very high technology on the military side. It's very, very expensive. This at least brings it down to commercial grade level, where if all of a sudden you had an accident with a helicopter on a fishing boat, you have a pretty big financial problem and, of course, possibly loss of life. The beauty of this is these aircraft can do all sorts of functional things that we can't dream of. I describe it as we are an iPad or a device, and everybody has their apps, and they keep coming in the door on a regular basis to us. So to answer the question, the world is going to change dramatically. I had a cell phone back when cell phones started, when it was a big box.
Yeah, it was a
and I
brick,
carted around. And everybody in this room now has a cell phone in their pocket that's also a computer that could run a third world country. No one ever saw that happening, and that's probably in a 20-year period.
Right, when the iPad came out, people said, that's not going to do anything.
And now we're sitting here, and it's not a compliment to our company, because I don't compare what we're doing to the Genius, but this is at the Wright Brothers stage. So you tell me, when the Wright Brothers, could they envision what we do?
No.
It's impossible.
Well, I want to give you a piece I researched. The Wright brothers didn't invent the plane in a bicycle shop. They invented it in a kite shop. They were kiters.
Yes.
That's how they knew of aerodynamics.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I understand. And I think the interesting thing is, I'm just saying as a stage, we have pretty sophisticated technology, but that's the level we are at. So over the next 2 to 5 years, there's going to be some breakthrough things. 5 years from now, the world's going to be very different. Certainly, all of the multi-rotor drones can be controlled, but we don't want all that stuff buzzing around. No different than we want mosquitoes. But the good news is, in remote areas, out in agricultural land where the benefits are huge and the silence is great, the efficiency is wonderful. We're going to be doing amazing things, and we're going to be more productive as human beings. We're going to be saving lives. We're going to be controlling fires. We're going to be
delivering
floods.
pizzas.
We're going to be delivering pizzas. We can do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It will happen in time, but for now, we just have to begin. And that's how I got here. I was a model airplane person.
Did you grow up in Colorado?
No, I grew up in New York, but I moved to Colorado in '69, so I've been there a long time. And it fits the demographic of where I live.
Good place to fly in
Very
Colorado?
Nice. Very nice.
Right.
Yes. And we have to do this all in a logical method under the legal side of what the FAA approves. But they've come a long way in the last year of making it be so that they're starting to get a better understanding of what operating these vehicles is all about.
Anything else you think I missed here?
I think you covered it. I think the only thing I don't know if I showed you, this is how we fly the Tempest. That we fly it off a tablet, and that's actually the Tempest on this screen.
Okay.
And if I want to adjust this where it goes, I put my finger down, and I just slide this. And if you watch, when I take my finger off, the Tempest is going to now adjust, and it's now flying to that line, and you can see it's just making a turn on the screen. Right. And this is a company called Black Swift Technology, and they're aligned with us, and they do the autopilots for the Tempest. And we have many autopilot companies that are involved with us, but that's our first line of what we encourage people to do. And the beauty of it is that we can basically just make this be however we want. We can make the Tempest go wherever we want.
Okay, we got it here, yeah.
And it's now turning, and you can see it's going to go back to that line.
Okay,
good. It's just made a turn, and it's kind of, and that's how we fly the Tempest, believe it or not.
Oh, right. So,
this is our ground station.
And then can you see what the Tempest can see?
We can if we set it up for those kind of sensors.
You set it up, right, those
just
sensors.
Depends upon what the sensors are. Even the University of Colorado, for their meteorological equipment, they install their own sensors, and they...
Well, how far out does this particular system here carry you?
This takes us about 8 miles from the launch point, and it covers a couple hundred waypoints.
What's the largest, longest distance, 8 miles?
8 miles from the launch point, but it covers a lot of ground in an hour and a half. So you can cover a lot of miles.
Right.
50 miles, you can cover 80, 90 miles. Seeing what you want to see.
Yeah, just seeing what you want to see.
You could have it flying a highway every day at a certain time from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock to
catch speeders or whatever.
Just monitor the highway, just keep things safer.
Yeah, keep them safe, yeah. Good. Okay, let me
There you
get
go.
it. There we go.